over the last 3 weeks, we've looked at each of the 3 primary financial statements, but they are not totally separate and independent reports meant to stand alone. They all work together to give you the big picture of your business, and that's what we're going to look at today. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Boutique Bookkeeper Show, where we take the mystery out of your money and make your numbers make sense. I'm Megan, virtual bookkeeper and bookkeeping coach, and I love helping female boutique owners just like you finally feel confident about the financial side of your business. If you're tired of feeling anxious every time you have to open QuickBooks, or if you're making sales but constantly left wondering, where did all that money go? You're in the right place. We'll cover all things bookkeeping and taxes, all in plain English, so you can be less intimidated by the numbers and finally start to use them to help you grow a profitable boutique. So, if you're ready to stop avoiding this whole numbers thing and start keeping more of the money you make, grab your coffee and your calculator and let's dive in. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Boutique Bookkeeper Show. I'm Megan, and today we're going to be wrapping up our mini-series on the 3 primary financial statements. Over the last 3 weeks, we've talked through how to read each of these primary financial statements, the income statement, the balance sheet, and the statement of cash flows. So if you missed any of those, be sure to go back and take a listen. But today, we're going to wrap it all up and talk about how the 3 reports together can give you the best picture of your business finances. I'm going to kind of walk through the specific order in which I look at these reports, and I encourage you to start doing the same. So, to start, I always look at the income statement or the P&L first, because I want to see how the business performed over the last month. Remember, this is the report that shows all of your income and expenses. So as you're reading through this report, I also like to compare it to prior periods so I have something to gauge the business performance on. So if you use QuickBooks Online, you can change your date range to view the last couple of months as well. And then under the display by, you're going to choose by month, and it will show your P&L, but it will have all of the month's numbers reflected as different columns, so you can easily compare these numbers side by side when reviewing your financial performance for the last few months. You can even export this to Excel and take some notes to maybe help explain why some of these numbers are higher or lower than previous months. Make notes of what worked in your business to help drive sales, or maybe what didn't work so you don't waste time and money trying it again later on. And after you read through each line item, you get down to the very bottom number on your report, and that is your net income or loss. Now remember, just because you maybe had a profit of $10,000 doesn't mean that you have $10,000 more in your bank account. And because of that, the report I always like to look at next is the statement of cash flows, because the very top number of this report is the net income. So it's just like a continuation of your income statement. And here's a little fun fact for you. Did you know that your net income number is the only number that appears on all 3 of these financial reports? I don't know if you picked up on that little tidbit at all from the last 3 weeks, but it's true. If you filter to see your year-to-date numbers on all 3 financial reports, your net income number should be the exact same across all 3 reports. All right, diving back in here, the statement of cash flows takes your net income and then it adjusts it based on how the cash money actually flowed in and out of your business. So let's say on your income statement, it showed a cost of goods sold of $5,000, but remember, that's the cost of the products that you sold during the month, and that's what's actually used to calculate your gross margin and eventually the net income on your P&L. But let's say during that same month, you actually purchased $7,000 of inventory. The statement of cash flows will show a negative $2,000 line item showing that you bought more inventory than you sold during the month. Maybe you paid down the balance of different credit cards or loans, or you took out owner's draws. All of those would show a negative line item on your statement of cash flows. So at the bottom of your statement of cash flows, you'll see a line that says something like net cash increase or decrease for period that totals up your net income and all of these adjustments on your statement of cash flow to show if you actually had a positive or a negative cash flow overall during that time period. The end of your statement of cash flow will also have 2 additional lines that say something like cash at the beginning of period and cash at the end of the period. And that net cash increase or decrease number will be the difference between those 2 numbers. And do you know where those two numbers come from? They come from your balance sheet. So after you look at your statement of cash flows, you're going to hop on over to your balance sheet and take a look at that. And the number on your statement of cash flow is the total of your bank account section on your balance sheet. So the numbers on your statement of cash flow, it should match the ending number of the bank account section. And your beginning balance on the statement of cash flow is just going to be the ending balance of the prior period. So if you're looking at it for a certain month, you're going to look at the ending balance for the prior month on your balance sheet compared to the ending balance of the current month. Just like you do with your income statement, you can view your balance sheet by month as well to see how it changes month by month. I love looking at the balance sheet over time because it's really helpful to see how maybe your cash balances, your cash reserves have been either growing or shrinking over time. Helps you see what your inventory balance is doing, what your overall debts are looking like. And another number that I love to keep tabs on is the total equity number. And I like to call this your walking away number. It's essentially the book value of your business. If you choose just to close up shop, take all of your assets, pay off all your debts, this is the money that you would be left with. Ideally, you want to see that number growing over time as it's an indicator that you have a strong, growing business. And remember, your year-to-date net income will be a line item in that equity section because a big factor in your business's book value is its ability to earn a profit over time. So, just a quick recap, all three of these financial statements should be viewed together for you to get the big picture of how your business is doing financially. One statement alone cannot give the full story, right? A company can show a profit, but you can still run out of cash. So I really want to encourage you to start looking at all three of these financial statements for your business and start to get more familiar with looking at the whole financial story. If you're more of a visual learner and you want to actually see all three of these reports in action, then I want to invite you to register for my free masterclass where I actually show a real-life example of each of these reports. To register, you can go to findingfreedomfinancial.com/masterclass, or else I'll be sure to link it in the show notes below as well. But that's all that I have for you guys today. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode. I'll see you there. Hey there, and thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that I shared something that helped you feel just a little bit more confident in understanding all the numbers in your boutique business. If you found this helpful, don't forget to go and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That's the best way for other boutique owners just like you to find this podcast so I can help them feel just a little bit more confident in their numbers as well. If you have any questions about what you heard today, hop on over to Instagram and send me a DM at Finding Freedom Financial. I'll be back again real soon, but in the meantime, go implement or take action on something you learned today. I promise your future self will thank you.